All right, so this is a video for putting a rear view camera on the back of your GFC with an LCD mirror, rear view mirror up front. It's for people that don't want the window installed, or maybe have the window installed, you still have bad visibility. So this is gonna put a front and rear dash cam on there. I'm gonna post a video or a photo with all the tools you're gonna need right now. So let's get started. First thing you're gonna do, we're in Baja, grab your favorite beverage. And you're gonna wanna locate where you want to drill the hole for your camera. So if we're thinking about right here, so we're gonna take a step drill bit and drill a hole right here. So I'll show you that in just a second. All right, so we've marked that we want this hole to be where the wire is going to run through our camper to be about maybe an inch above where we're mounting the camera. So we marked this spot right here. We're going to use our smallest drill bit to just make a pilot hole. There we go. Next, you want to grab yourself a step drill bit. Last time I did this, I drilled it out to about 14 or 16 millimeters, but you just want it to be big enough for your port to fit through there. So kind of take it step by step and stop whatever fits for you. I'll let you know what works for us. All right, so we drilled out that hole to about 18 millimeters is what our step down took us to. Then you're gonna take your waterproof port here. I got the nut, the rubber washer, my port. I'm gonna stick the port in from the inside. Put the rubber washer around the threads. And then hand tighten this down. And then I'll come in with a wrench and finish tightening that down. All right, so now you want to take your camera piece and your high bond tape and peel off the backside. Stick it to the camera as best as you can to match the holes. Press that down nice and good. And while that adheres, you want to separate the camera from the rest of the wires. And you're going to run your back part for the waterproof port through the wire so that when you screw it on, it's going to screw on this way towards the blue clip here. And then run this through the back inside part of your camper, out through the hole, and hand screw it down from the inside. And now you can reconnect your camera, run that wire back into the camper as far as you need it. Then we will position where we want our camera to be. Take the tape off the back. All right, so we got the tape off. Now I'm gonna pull the wire through. Make sure you've cleaned off your surface and position it exactly where you want it to be. Press down. Maybe we should get like a zoom in. So it's worth noting that within this little housing piece, this plastic piece, there's a little rubber grommet that goes in here to make everything nice and tight and waterproof. Make sure that's within these little teeth before you tighten this nut up. So we're gonna tighten this nut up here. As tight as we can. You can use a wrench if you need to. I just kind of make it hand tight. But that is now going to make it watertight. If it's a little loose, you can add a little bit of tape in there, which I think we're gonna do, add a little bit of tape just to fully make this nice and tight. So we got a little bit of tape added right here where it makes a connection. That's gonna be nice and watertight for us. We're gonna reconnect this part of the cable now. And next step is going to be running our wire up along here, zip tying it along the way. And depending on your model of truck, underneath this flap right here, if you want to get a closer shot, there's a little entry port. Can you see that? Get a little bit higher. So we're going to run the wire down there near the rear wheel, and then at that point we're going to begin the process of zip tying and making our way towards the front driver's side door. One more thing that's worth noting, I think we are going to bypass this because we don't really think it's a feature we find useful. But this red wire can be spliced into the power line for your rear brake here, your rear brake light, so that when you press your brake or when you go into reverse, it's only for when you go into reverse, that your there's some guidelines that will come up on your LCD monitor for your rear reversing assistance, but we don't really find it that useful. So yeah, we're gonna forego that. So we have zip tied up to the GFC wiring for their brake here, which we haven't done yet. Ran it down here, ran it up through here, come around the corner, past the serve boards. You're gonna see that your wire is gonna drop down right here. So I am going to run this wire up along the chassis here, and I'll get you a better shot in a second here, but basically up along the chassis there's some OEM wiring harnesses that runs all the way to the front of your car. I'm just gonna make my way zip tying all the way down to the front of the car. It gets a little difficult near the gas tank area, but we're gonna make it happen. So I'll show you that in a second. All right, so we've run the cable down. You wanna run it above this beam here in your chassis as much as you can, so that if you do make contact with the ground or rocks or of any kind, you're not fucking up your wire. But basically, we've run it to this point. Now, right underneath your door handle, above where the chassis is, the cab, there's a little gap between the cab and the chassis, and you're gonna see this, if you wanna get in close there, this little grommet here. You're gonna wanna pull that out, and we're gonna drill a hole in it just big enough to slide the end of your wire through that. So we're gonna do that now. Very good. Okay, so we popped off that grommet. We drilled a 3/8 hole in it, added a little bit of lubrication, a little WD-40, and we slipped our wire through. Now we're gonna reinsert it from the bottom here, and it's gonna be popped off this little thing right here too. You're gonna feel the carpet down here, and basically the goal is to shove the cable up and bring the wire this way so that we could run it along this channel and then up this tower here. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and do that. Pop it in down here, reach my hand down, and just feed this until I feel the wire. There it is. All right, so I got the wire. Now I'm gonna pull it through, and then we're gonna secure the grommet at the bottom. All right, so we're back from Bob. We didn't finish the job there. We didn't have everything we needed. What you're gonna wanna get, a couple adapfuses. And I'm gonna post a photo to show what fuses down here you're going to pop out and add the adafuse for your always on power wiring. So I will go ahead and post that photo now. So we're going to cut off this red and yellow wire here, and then put in, splice together our adafuse so that we can go ahead and pop out those old fuses and pop these in. So I'll show you in the video. We're gonna start by taking our power harness here, our power cable, and we're going to clip off the red and the yellow fuses and then strip the wires. Now you'll twist your wires together against themselves. So we added our shrink tubing to the wire first, and then we crimped down to make our connections. Now we are going to slide up our shrink tubing to cover our connections, and then we're gonna hit it with a heat gun. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we're under the hood. Before I pull out the fuses from inside the cab, I'm gonna grab, you can use pliers, or they have this fuse puller here inside your fuse box under the hood. So I'm gonna borrow this from here and then come over here, and I'll include a diagram of which fuses you're going to want to pop out. I'm gonna go ahead and pop those out right now. So I'm gonna reach down here, grab the 2 fuses that I need, 15s, and pinch them out, pop them out like that. So the fuses that I popped out of here don't fit into the add a fuse, but I have a Amazon kit full of fuses. Probably get this for like 10 bucks on Amazon. I'll include a link. I'm gonna grab 2 15s from in here, and we're going to use those in the add a fuse and plug that in. All right, so as you can see, we have our red wire connected to that fuse up there, and we have our yellow wire running to the back to that fuse. And now we are going to take that bolt and loosen it up just enough to slip in our ground and reconnect it, and then we will be dialed. So I'm gonna do that now. So at this point, we have this all wired up like we need it to be. We have our cable coming out through the firewall underneath the car. Now we're going to take this rubber weatherproof stuff here and just pull it off and run all our cables that we need up through there, up to here, and then eventually we're gonna run it up along behind here. You can just pull this back, but I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so now I want to take my GPS. I'm gonna stick it right about here on the window. Press hard. And now we'll go through the process of plugging everything in. So we have our LCD screen up here on our rear view mirror already. We'll start by, we plugged in our power cable up here. We're gonna plug in the GPS right here. And we had to add an extension cable for the camera, but we got that on Amazon for real cheap. And we're gonna plug in that one right here. And now with all of our wires plugged in, we will peel back up here and go through the process of just feeding as much wire as we can to hide back here. So I'm not going to show you that for the whole video, but just stuff all the wires up here, and then anything excess we're going to, like for the camera cable, which comes along here, let's just say this power cable, once we get to over here, we can peel back this tower, or maybe start on this side, and you can kind of just wedge it in there as well. to hide. And yeah, so we're gonna do that, and then I'll show you the finished product. All right, so we have it all wired up. All the wires are clean. Everything's put back and organized. The last thing I do is to turn it on and test it. So first, I need your keys. Let's fire it up. You want to film this? There we go. So right now it's upside down. So let's find the settings. First you need to stop the recording to change your settings. So stop it there. Upside down rear image is what we want to turn on. And now we can pull up and down. There we go. So if you want to change, turn this off over here, you can do all that in the settings. You're going to want to plug in an SD card up here for saving videos. Format the SD card. Other than that, looks like we're dialed. So let me just show you. We ran our wires up along here, and then we just kind of pulled back where this airbag hides and ran the wires just real tight up here. This weather proofing just pulls right off, so you can just grab that, pull it. You run your wires all the way down along here, tuck it, most of it back behind here, and then everything else you can tuck down here. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. And if there's anything else you want to see us do, let us know.